turn now to a big day in court for the parents of Gabby Petito. The young woman was killed by her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie, as the pair traveled across the country last summer. And the Petito family is now suing Laundrie's parents, and Trevor Ault has the story.
In the next few hours, the family of Gabby Petito will be in court defending the civil lawsuit they filed against the parents of Brian Laundrie, the man who investigators say murdered their daughter.
The Laundries should be responsible for their conduct and what they did after they knew that Gabby was dead and where her body was located.
The FBI says last summer, Brian Laundrie strangled Gabby Petito to death in Wyoming and returned home to Florida without her. Her disappearance sparked a nationwide search, but Brian and his family refused to speak with law enforcement or Gabby's parents, and then Brian disappeared himself. Investigators later finding his body in a nearby swamp, saying he died from a self-inflicted gunshot next to a written confession. The Petito family is now accusing the Laundries of intentional infliction of emotional distress, alleging they knew Gabby had been murdered but said nothing, instead calling a lawyer and cutting off communication with Gabby's mother.
They refused to return calls, and then they blocked her on her cell phone and blocked her on Facebook.
Chris and Roberta Laundrie have never commented publicly since Gabby's disappearance, but they're seeking to dismiss the case, their lawyers saying the lawsuit is baseless.
The law does not require an individual to speak to a third party under any circumstances.
He would not confirm whether or not the Laundries knew what happened to Gabby before her body was found, but he says he advised them not to speak with anyone, including Gabby's family.
You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to allow your lawyer to speak for you. And you should not be liable to any third party, whether it's the family of the victim or whether it's a victim.
This morning, a judge will consider if the case will get a jury trial. Back in December, Gabby's mother spoke to us about turning her daughter's death into a mission to fight domestic violence and find missing people.
I don't want to see this happen to another person. Just awareness alone is giving people the strength.
And Gabby's family is asking for more than $100,000 in damages here. That money could be used to help fund the Gabby Petito Foundation, which her family established to champion those causes. George?
Okay, thanks, Trevor. Let's bring in our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. Dan, thanks for joining us again this morning. Today's hearing is just a pretrial hearing, but you say it's critical?
It's absolutely critical. This is the case that will determine whether there's even going to be a trial here. And this is not an easy legal argument for the Petito family to make. So if a judge allows this to move forward, if the judge says essentially there's enough grounds here for a jury to hear the case, suddenly a jury will be able to make decisions which are broader about sort of right and wrong. Which I think could help the Petitos rather than the strictly legal arguments, which are very tough for them.
But it's still a tough case for them to win.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason it's tough is because the lawyer for the Laundries makes a fair point, which is as a legal matter, you're not legally required to provide information, to help in an investigation, etc. And to sue over that is very unusual, very hard to win. The lawsuit is pretty broad and pretty vague, which is why today's hearing becomes so essential. If the judge is saying there's enough here as a legal matter to send this to a jury, that would be a huge win for the Petitos.
Dan Abrams, thanks very much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.